If you were to assemble a list, a hierarchy of concerns, of problems this country faces, where would white supremacy be on the list? Right up there with Russia, probably. It's actually not a real problem in America. The combined membership of every white supremacist organization in this country would be able to fit inside a college football stadium? I mean, seriously. This is a country where the average person is getting poorer, where the suicide rate is spiking. White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax. Just like the Russia hoax. It's a conspiracy theory used to divide the country and keep a hold on power. That's exactly what's going on.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw, which was Tucker Carlson dropping nothing but facts on his Fox News show about white supremacy and the myth of it. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know how many years, especially in the past few weeks and months. This whole boogeyman, this whole ghost, this whole specter of white supremacy is being used right now as a tool to try and derail the 2020 election in favor of the Democrats. And it's also being used as a tool to enact some type of gun control. Let's back up a little bit here to put it in proper context. The past couple of shootings that happened, one was in Dayton, Ohio, the other in El Paso. You had white guys that were shooters. And I think the guy in El Paso may have had some racist language in the manifesto, which I'm not sure has been verified or not, but that's a different story. And for now, I digress. They're trying to use these two incidents as the face of all quote unquote mass shootings. And I get to that in a moment. And they're saying, well, white men are the problem. White supremacy is a problem. White nationalism is the problem. And Donald Trump is emboldening him by his rhetoric, talking about Mexicans, rapists, murderers, all this, that, and the third. All of that is this big, convoluted lie. Is not really based in truth. Let's talk about the mass shootings first so you understand where this whole big number of like 300 mass shootings in 2019 already is coming from. Now, there is no actual clear and defined number that determines a mass shooting. Okay, some may tell you there's 3 or more. That's not true. The FBI determines mass murder as 3 or more that have been killed. That's much different than those that have been shot. Okay, you can have 25 people shot and only 2 of them die, or 1 of them die, or nobody dies. But if you got 25 people shot, that's still a mass shooting. I mean, because a mass shooting is multiple people that are shot at once. There's a website, I think it's called massshootingtracker.org, and I'll place that in the description box below. They define it as 4 or more who are shot at once. And that's how you get the big 300 number. If you get 4 people shot in a random place, nobody dies, that's still considered a mass shooting. Now, before I was seeing things like, school shootings. They had a different methodology for that. They were saying if there was a gun discharged on school grounds, it doesn't matter if school was in session. It doesn't matter what time of day. It could be at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got some dope fiends behind the school getting geeked up, and then somebody shoots a gun off. That's considered a school shooting. Okay, that is not the same thing as what we're talking about right here, which is people that are actually shot. You know, a bullet hits you. 4 or more people, according to the massshootertracker.org, that is what a mass shooting is being defined as by the mainstream media. Because like I said, there is no actual clear and defined methodology to determine what a mass shooting is, aside from the fact that it has to be multiple victims shot at once. But again, I digress. So they're using this big 300 plus number. Now, who knows what the race of every person is that's doing the shooting? I mean, if you go off the actual numbers of murder and people that get shot in the country, you're probably going to have majority black, if not close to majority black, then Hispanic, and then white. I put up some numbers that had the actual numbers of those that are shot, those that are killed, etc. And I'll place those on the screen before you. Again, white in this case includes Hispanic, also some Middle Eastern, you know, like almost to the point where you get to the Indian subcontinent. Not quite there. Once you get to the Indian subcontinent, past Persia, Iran, or whatever, those are considered Asian. And you can see they're pretty much low on the list because they will be included in the other. I'm willing to bet that there are more Hispanics than whites who are engaged in any kind of shooting. So when you actually look at the numbers based on people that get shot, not what media in some cases may consider a mass shooting is going to be more black, Hispanic than white. Now, if you're talking about what some may consider a mass shooting, that's like, 25 people shot, 15 killed. I mean, if you're looking at probably more than 10 people killed in the instance, that'll be mostly white, which would make sense because whites are the largest population in the country. But if you're looking at just shootings in general, which encapsulate this big 300 number, that's not the case. Anyway, the two big shootings that happened over the weekend are being used as the face of it, although that's not typically who is involved in these everyday shootings that happen all across the country. Now, Tucker Carlson saying that white supremacy is not really a real thing is a problem for the left. That's pretty much the only trick they have left in the bag to try and attack Donald Trump with. The whole thing about Stormy Daniels and sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, the Access Hollywood tape, that didn't work. Okay, this whole kerfuffle with the tax returns. You got Gavin Newsom trying to keep him off the ballot in California because his tax returns aren't released, but that's not really an issue either. Then it's this whole thing about Russia did this, Russia did that. You had this whole big investigation, wiretapping, that yielded a nothing burger. They didn't get anything from that at all. So what else do you have? Allegations of racism, allegations of white supremacy. That's what's going to be laid at the feet of Donald Trump to try and derail the campaign for 2020. And there's also the issue of gun control. You're going to say that white people and white supremacists are the faces of mass shootings. And then you're going to say it's 300 mass shootings according to that number. And people are going to get scared. You're going to have bipartisan efforts to try and enact gun control. It's really just that simple. It ain't nothing else. People trying to say, are you trying to cape for the white man? No, you don't understand. If this lie is allowed to persist, it will affect all of us, not just the white man. I mean, when they enact gun control, when they prevent the president from winning, that's going to affect everyone. You got Supreme Court justices that are in limbo, people that may mess around and die or retire. You want to have conservative people in there because what if you get a liberal court? You're going to have, these big 6'8", 300-pound men with the twig and berries using the bathroom with your 4-year-old daughter and your wife while you ain't there. How you going to feel about that? Okay. There's all kinds of issues that need to be addressed that can't be addressed if you don't have the proper people in office. And the proper people are being kept away, or they're trying to be kept away by the left, some on the right, and the mainstream media and just regular normies who don't understand what's really going on. They see what's happening like right in front of them. They're saying, okay, orange man bad, white supremacy bad. I don't want to protect the white man or whatever, but they're not seeing what's behind all that. They're seeing the top of the iceberg, but they don't see what's beneath. If in the Titanic, all they had was that little piece of ice on top and not the iceberg, everything would have been fine. They would have been able to just keep on going in the straight path. But since you had this big iceberg underneath and they didn't see it, that's what sunk the ship. And that is represented in this case in the steps they're going to take after this. If you're allowed to say that white supremacists and white nationalists are the ones out here shooting and killing 300 mass shootings in a year, that's going to be used to enact gun control. That's going to be used to affect the elections, not only nationally, but locally. And that's going to affect everyone, regardless of your color, regardless of your sexual orientation, what you identify as. You can identify as an attack helicopter, Whopper with cheese, a cloud in the sky, a cell phone with no service, whatever you want to identify as, it's irrelevant when it comes down to all the laws that are going to affect all of us. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that this whole idea of white supremacy is being used as a tool to try and attack all Americans? Do you think Tucker Carlson was correct in saying it's not really a big deal? It's a nothing burger. It is a lie, and it's a tool being used as a weapon against you. Do you think that I'm just trying to cape for the white man, or do you think that I'm correct when I say that these things are trying to push in the mainstream media are going to affect all of us? It ain't about color at this particular point in time. It's about you as an American being duped into believing a thing that is not true. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.